How do we pay for the $1,500 weekly stipend? The fiscal approach in implementing the $1,500 weekly citizen stipend and its market efficiency benefit by C.P. Clapper, economist, author of Popular Capitalism and The Way Out, or How Electronic Revenue Credits Can End the Debt Crisis, Open Government, and Restart the Economy. Pay it forward. Distributing the stipend creates money. Make a deficit, not a debt. Yes, print money. Do not issue debt under any circumstances. Just create new money by writing checks. To hell with gold. Free money without any base, standard, or similar rubbish. Money is purely a medium of exchange, so treat it that way. Yes, Virginia, it is monopoly money, but with a difference. It is chartered by the government of currency. In other words, it is legal tender, valid for all payments, public and private. The debts language you find on currency is malarkey inserted by users to lend credence to debts, which are never valid. Every loan is also chartered monopoly money. They create what I call directed inflation, since they are directed towards certain purchases, such as real estate. They also create an obligation to pay back in chartered monopoly money. This means that loans are, on balance, deflationary. Loans deflate wages and other prices more than they inflate their target because they're taking back interest from the general supply of chartered monopoly money. Therefore, stipend monopoly money, when used to pay back loans, limits the wage depression coming from loan monopoly money. Stipend monopoly money generates taxable economic activity. The stipend generates economic activity. Some of that economic activity is taxable in the first instance. The taxes then destroy the money being returned for taxes. The remaining money recirculates, generating more economic activity. Some of this new economic activity is taxable in subsequent instances. Taxes from these secondary, tertiary, and later instances destroy money in the same way that taxes in the first instance destroy money. Taken together, these taxes pay the Treasury back what was paid forward. The debt repayments pay the banks back what they paid forward in loans. Deficits generate more economic activity and thus more taxes. The stipend in the tax cycle is therefore self-correcting. When people use the stipend to pay back loans, they are destroying loan monopoly money. The stipend obviates bank lending in the first place, thus ending loan monopoly money for the future. If the money destroyed in taxes is less than the money created by the stipend or other government spending, then we have a deficit. If this deficit is not held in saving, a general inflation would ensue. Then that general inflation would lead to more tax revenue at the same rates. The greater tax revenue would be a surplus, destroying the excess money. This self-correcting cycle shows how the $1,500 weekly citizen stipend pays for itself. But that's not all. The stipend makes the labor market more efficient, makes it efficient in the first place. Once citizens have a stipend for their cost of living, the price of their labor can fall to the cost of working, a much lower amount. Citizens can leave jobs when they complete them. Managers can be eliminated when the jobs they manage are completed. The wages for hazardous jobs will rise because the stipend allows citizens to refuse such employment, or, for a smaller number, demand hazard pay. The premium for such jobs will encourage automation to replace them, thus making that process more efficient than it was before. Lower pay for pleasant jobs enables comparative advantage efficiencies. If we're able to pay people less to do the jobs they like to do in our country, then that can compare with a relationship between various jobs in the various foreign countries, so that the labor effort is directed to the most efficient distribution of labor for the various products in the various countries. The stipend provides paying customers to businesses. This is especially important now as we're going through the pandemic, because then that means that the stipend feeds the entire supply chain. Restaurants can get a steady stream of takeout and delivery orders. They can pay for protected deliveries for customers and staff. They can maintain supplies from distributors. They can maintain their supply of food and other products that they need in order to prepare and deliver the food. The distributors of the supplies can maintain a supply from the farmers. They can continue to demand the dairy products and the crops and the meat and so on from the farmers. The costs of verified protection are paid from that revenue stream. It's not interrupted simply because somebody has lost their job or a bunch of people lost their job. They have the stipend and they can continue to keep that supply chain funded. The lower base cost of ordinary employment balances against those greater costs that are from the measures that need to be taken to make sure that the food is secure and uninfected all across the supply chain. And the bottom line is that no food is dumped due to insufficient customer demand. It's another whole area of efficiency in that the stipend enables civic participation as volunteers and civil servants. The stipend also eliminates democratic mercantilism, falsely called privatizing. The waste of making a buck from each act of civic service can be removed. The democratic mercantilist corruption of civic institutions such as medical care, education, transportation, and housing can finally end, and thus all that waste is eliminated. Health insurance can be abolished, reducing medical fees. Student loan programs can be phased out, reducing college fees. The mortgage can be abolished so that real estate becomes affordable. Endogenous civic financing can bring transit systems back in-house. Municipal construction departments can replace speculative real estate developers. And then it realizes the American dream of communist republicanism. Municipal medical departments can provide medical care free to the public with a standardized federal civil service system of qualifications and pay. Self-sufficient, autonomous colleges of extended families can be lifelong residents for its members, where they grow their own food, make or restore their furniture, clothing, pottery, and other useful wares, make art and music, combine their libraries, and create a legacy for their posterity. And that legacy is wealth of those colleges, which are communist households. The American Lyceum can return to bring lifelong education. The American Lyceum was an institution developed by Josiah Holbrook and Daniel Webster to provide adult education across the early United States. Those can be returned because people have the freedom to take in that learning. They have the freedom of developing their ideas and going on the circuit and talking about those ideas, which is something that I would be doing if we weren't locked down at the moment. And most importantly, an assurance of place can be given to every citizen, whether they arrived at birth or as an immigrant. And that satisfies the clauses in the Constitution to have a uniform rule of naturalization. So that is how we pay for the $1,500 weekly stipend and how it rewards us. Well, this is the point at which YouTube channels customarily ask you for money to buy premium something or others and merchandise, but you don't have a survival income. Most of you don't. And so you're just trying to survive on what you happen to have in the house. So I'm not going to ask you for anything. Just watch the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully people will be listening to what I've been trying to say for years and years and years and years. Thanks. Bye.